Howdy. Afternoon. Jason, can you go up into the red by one? Good afternoon, everyone. We're testing the volume. I feel like it's been a long time since we had a management Q&A, which doesn't make a lot of sense, but here we are. So welcome. We will get into things in a moment. Excuse me. I was just eating some of the delicious soup from the pub and it's tickling my throat. It was extra yummy today. I think we're just going to jump right into our round robin, if everybody's okay with that. Okay. Philip? Sir?
Hello, there it is. Good afternoon. I have to do a shout out for my Nana out there. Marie Stipe is a long friend of the family and the godmother to one of my children. So it's nice to see her here. So my name is Philip Mail. I am the Director of Long-Term Care for the Health Center. And what I try to do when there's not any late breaking news is just give a little tidbits of information about things that go on there. And we are very excited that we have recently hired, and many of you maybe have seen him already, a new unit manager for assisted living and Garden View. Charlene McCumber, who had been the unit manager, is pursuing her RN. And between that workload and some other things, she has stepped away from that role, but she is still with us, and she's been training Ryan Squires as the new unit manager, and that's going super well so far. And so if you see a new presence up on assisted living, particularly a male presence, we don't have a lot of males up there, but Ryan will be the unit manager. So I thought I'd take a moment just real quick to talk about the nursing structures on any of the units, the skilled units or any of the assisted living units. Just a little bit about what that chain of command looks like, because there's a lot of people running around with badges and scrubs. So on the skilled unit, we also have a unit manager. Her name is Gia, and she does the immediate oversight of the RNs who are on the skilled unit, who do the assessments, and also the LPNs on the units. They're generally the people behind the medication carts who pass out the meds and do some treatments. And then you have CNAs who do most of the hands-on care. And then you have what are called unit assistants. And these folks don't do any clinical care, but they are super helpful in taking care of all the things that need to be taken care of so the nursing staff can do nursing stuff. So that might mean updating the boards, getting fresh water pitchers, helping someone out with an errand, or answering some questions and things like that. And the assisted living unit runs similarly. There's the unit manager, who we just mentioned, Ryan, and then he oversees the LPNs on those units who do the medications and treatments. And they also have direct care aides. It's a different licensure, but that's not super important. And they also have unit assistants. The only thing assisted living lacks are RNs, because the strange and bizarre world of New York State regulation of assisted living units, RNs aren't always allowed to perform as RNs. But that's how the nursing structure works on each floor, and all of those nursings report to one director of nursing, and her name is Deborah Vining, and her office is in the back office suites over at reception. So I don't know if that's helpful or more confusing, but I thought I'd take a moment to break that down. Any questions? All right, thank you very much. I will pass it on to Rob.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Robert Dunn, Director of Environmental Services. Welcome to springtime. It's starting to get nice out there. And as a reminder, it is pest control season, so we will see more critters this time of year. If you're having issues, call me immediately, but you can also off hours, you can call concierge. There is a pest control book that Orkin sees at the front desk when they come in on whether it's the health center or independent living. Everything is documented there. So let concierge know if you can't get a hold of Carrie or myself to address the issue. If you've got 400 wasps on your back porch, call us right away. Don't, wait, and we can address that or do whatever we got to do. But I don't want to let things go for too long when things can become invasive pretty quickly this time of year. So just note that going forward. In talking to Carrie yesterday, annuals are going extremely well. I think there was a couple comments made in the box. What's that box called? The suggestion box or whatever you guys call that, about moving things on your counters and all that stuff. And I've addressed that with the staff to make sure we're moving items on the counter, whether it's a coffee pot or toaster or those things. There are some people where you can't move anything on the counters. You know who you are, So the more access we have to the counter, the better job we can do as a staff. So, but those comments, and if you have an issue with, how they're doing or what they're doing, call us directly too, and we'll address that with that particular housekeeper that you have. And I'd like to address those concerns instead of letting them go. Because as a comment is made in the suggestions box, I don't know who the housekeeper is or whatever. I can't identify that, but I always address it with all the staff that do the cleanings over here. Carrie also mentioned on the annuals, we're pretty well booked into April. I think there's 1 or 2 slots left in April. And we're now booking into May for your annual cleanings. So if she leaves you a message, please try and return that phone call so we can get you booked in. They will book up quickly as the people that we have been staying within that 12-month period for annuals, and we've been doing that for a couple of years now. So I want to keep up on that. So please reach back out to Carrie if she reaches out to you for your annual. If you're not sure when your annual is, usually it's within a year of when you had it last. If you declined it last year, you're more than welcome to have one this year if you want, or if you decline it again. I don't suggest letting it go 2 years, but if your place is immaculate, that's up to you. All right, but just reach out to Carrie and she handles all the scheduling of the annuals. If I touch it, she gets a little upset with me. Any questions for me on any of that stuff for housekeeping? Go ahead. Oh, sorry.
Margaret?
Mine is not a question, but a thank you. We had our annual cleaning today and it was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that.
Thanks, Margaret.
And like I said, in the health center, there will be some downtime for annuals in June because we're going to work on the assisted living rooms. We're going to take some time and work on them as well and fit them in to kind of do the same process for the assisted living rooms. Okay. Go ahead.
Oh, hold on.
You'll get the
Vivian, I'm
mic.
coming to you.
What about our community porches? The ones that everyone uses on that floor? About cleaning. I know you can't do until all the pollen's finished.
Well, we usually start ahead of the pollen, but we want to, because the rain kind of makes a mess on the floor. So we can start steam cleaning the floors now, and we'll work systematically. Usually I think we start on South Wing and then work our way through. But we'll do that kind of in between the annuals and however we can fit them into the schedule. But
So
we'll start working on them next week.
So we don't have to call you. You'll be
No. We'll start on South Wing though. Is that where you're in South Wing, right?
No, in Central.
All right. So we'll get to those next, but yes, we'll start in South Wing usually.
Thank you.
And I know there's a lot of personal furniture on the end porches that's all resident furniture. We don't put any furniture on there, but if some residents have said, hey, it's old, it's broken or whatever. If you need us to remove that, because I don't want to take anything that's not ours or throw something out, but I don't want anything broken there either. So guys, be mindful of the stuff that you have. If you don't know whose it is and it's been there for 7 years and then we'll look to get rid of it. I just don't want it to be unsafe out there if somebody tries to sit in something that's
Rob,
not.
just do me a favor to that point. As your people go through, if they see a broken piece
Mhm.
and we don't know whose it is, can you let Lindsay know?
Yeah.
And then we'll keep a running list in the Chanticleer of which end porch it is and ask that floor to figure out whose it is and get rid of it.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay. Any other
have it.
questions?
Yep, hold on. Here we go, Jill.
Also not a question, it's a thank you. The pool area is so much cleaner and I don't know who was responsible for it, but somebody actually cleaned off all the little white numbers, tile numbers with the 4 feet and 3 feet. They have really been grungy and they were sparkling this morning. So
good.
thank you.
That's kind of been, I hate to give Tom credit, but I'll give it to Eric, but I think Eric has also been very good with that. And, we've got the pool on a more regular schedule with the night crew now. So we're doing the deck more often and, hitting these things that we probably just weren't getting to before on a regular basis. So, okay. All right. Thank you,
Thanks, Rob.
everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Terrell Fairley, Manager of IT and Cybersecurity, and all things technical related here at Woodland Pond. I have a couple of quick updates for you. Some of these updates are updates that can happen behind the scenes, right? So you folks don't necessarily know about them. The first thing is we did a recent Toshiba copier replacement. So some folks here may have seen some workers here replacing the Toshiba printers. One in particular was the one that's in the library. That was replaced, so that should operate a lot better now. The second update that I have has to do with our network closets, so which are kind of central points where all of our cabling comes in. That was recently taken apart and re-put back together much more neatly. The connections are tight, making things a lot more easy to troubleshoot, things like that. These are the types of wires that all of our computer systems and other systems as well communicate over these wires, so it's super important to make sure that those connections are nice and tight. So we did that not this past weekend, but the weekend before. The third thing that I have is something that we're going through starting next Friday. Not this coming Friday, but the Friday after. It's called the Security Penetration Test. This is a mandatory test from the Department of Financial Services that we have to go through. And this essentially tests our security here at Woodland Pond, just to make sure that everything's in order and that, the hackers can't hack into our network and things like that. So that's starting next week. The next one I have is T-Mobile. You guys probably saw communication about T-Mobile coming on site. They will be on site on the 24th at 10 o'clock in the classroom. And they will be talking about mobile phone tutorials. So how to use your phones and things of that nature, your tablets as well. So there's a sign-up sheet at the concierge desk. If you haven't signed up, highly recommended. And the last thing that I have is related to cybersecurity. I think everybody's doing a really good job in terms of cybersecurity, bringing the things that you guys see forward to me to take a look at and kind of get a second set of eyeballs on it. But the important thing about cybersecurity is that we're all targets, right? Including staff members and the organization as well. But from your perspective, it's important to realize, right? So we're not gonna beat this without awareness. So one of the things that I like to do is put the security tips in the Chanticleer weekly. Hopefully that's helping everybody. I'm going to continue to move forward with that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to emphasize that, we're all targets. So, let's screen everything, right? Our phone calls, our text messages, and our emails, screen them all. If you don't know where they're coming from, for instance, if a phone call comes, let it ring. Wait for the person to leave a voicemail and then call back. Call back the, not the number that called you. So as an example, if somebody from the bank calls you and says, yes, here's my telephone number, don't call that telephone number back, right? Verify the telephone number from a different way, whether it's a website or otherwise, and then call that number back, right? Because the bad guys, they can't really attack us if we don't communicate with them, right? We have to communicate with them, and that's what they want. They want to get us on the hook so that they can start to ask the questions. And when they ask the questions, they will come across very friendly and sound like they're the worker at whatever place that they're telling you they're calling from. Okay, so just be aware of the fact that they are out to get your information. And whether you have $100 in your bank account or $1 million in your bank account, they're going to take it, or at least try to. So, any questions? Yes.
Go ahead, Mr. Tab first. Tab.
The course you're having in a couple of weeks, Is it a one-shot deal? Or are you going to be continuous?
That's a one-shot deal through T-Mobile. We did talk to T-Mobile about kind of additional courses or tutorials after that. We'll see how this one goes. And then after that, if there are a lot more questions, then we can kind of have breakout sessions on those topics. Absolutely.
Trina?
Thank you. I'm just curious, it may not be the right question to ask you, but it's license, replacing your license season, at least for me. And I got something in the mail that said, declare your political party. I thought that was very odd. Is there anybody that we here at Woodland Pond could approach as to what we need, what documents we need to take with us? Birth certificates, licenses, proof of, I don't know, it's complicated.
Right.
So have any of you gone for your real ID yet?
I have.
I've done that.
Do you know, does anybody know to tell them?
It's a lot of information. They require like social security card, a bill for your address. There's a lot of steps to that. I highly recommend.
So we'll write it. Yeah, okay. So what we'll do is just so everyone is aware, most of you that are drivers probably know this. As of May something, everyone has to apply for what's called a real ID, which is a new thing that's being put into place. And Trina was asking, what documents do you need to go through DMV to get it done? If you have not made your appointment to do that yet, I would highly recommend doing that because they're going to be required in May, but really for domestic travel, I think, domestic flights. Right. All right. So what we'll do is rather than going through all the details in this meeting, because there's a lot of nuance to it, we'll put information out in an upcoming flyer so they know what to do. Somebody's phone is ringing.
With regard to the part of Trina's question about declaring your political party, there's a box you can check to donate, I don't know, $3 or something, but you have to let them know to what party to donate it.
Michelle, this is only when your license is due, like mine isn't due until next year. So there's nothing I have to do this year, correct? Everybody? Really?
License
Yeah.
says it's May something to fly domestically or internationally. If you plan on flying, go do it now. If you don't plan on flying anywhere,
Yeah.
don't,
Then-
We'll get details out.
we'll get the-
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, it's only going to impact for flying and some other things. So we'll get some details out for you. I'm going to go to Larry and then do you have other stuff?
No, that's it.
I'm not certain that you actually have to have that particular license as long as you have a passport. If you have a passport, that will enable you to fly internationally and within the U.S. It's heading to Seattle, Salt Lake, whatever. If you have the passport, no problem.
I didn't want to get into all the details, but yes, that will also be on the flyer.
Yes, last couple of days, I've gotten 2 emails basically stating the same thing. And that is, I was delinquent on my Easy Pass.
Yes, the Easy Pass emails are very, very
And
common.
it said, I have to click on this link, then turn off my iPhone and turn it back on, and then you can pay it.
Right. So
But I did not. I canceled
good.
it. To me, that's a spam right there. Boom.
absolutely. So I would say to your point, right? So people are going to see emails, whether it's from Easy Pass or some of these other companies or vendors that we do business with, that we have accounts with. I would say the best thing to really validate whether that's an authentic email or not is go to easypass.com in that example, right? So you have a login, a username and password for Easy Pass. Rather than click on any links within that email, go directly to the Easy Pass website, plug in your username and password, and then see what they tell you. The same thing applies for credit cards. You get, maybe bank statements in the mail. You see a transaction or a receipt that maybe looks a little bit suspicious. Somebody saying, hey, you owe us this. A lot of times there's going to be a call to action, which is a click on a link. The same type of thing applies. If you do mobile banking and you have, say, for instance, a Chase bank account, well, you probably have a Chase app as well. If you get that email in your inbox that says, hey, you missed the payment or your credit card was declined or something like that, open up your Chase app, open up the associated app and check there, okay? Because that's the most secure way to validate the claim, okay? Or customer service at those vendors as well.
I already got an email from Easy Pass telling me that I owe a bill. I don't even have an account with Easy Pass.
So that's an easy win for you. All right, any other tech questions? Okay, great. Take care, everybody.
Thanks, Terrell.
Hi, I'm Tom Tango, Director of Plant Operations. Go over a couple things. Monday, we will start putting all the awnings up and the furniture out. All right, so we should get that done. Then spring, spring came this morning. So there's a lot of things that you're all probably sitting there ready to say, what about this? What about that? My answer is going to be, we're on it. So we're getting to all of that. So Monday, we'll start putting the awnings up, getting the furniture out. We've been working on the ponds, and now all that's going pretty well. Couple of things. I want to remind everybody, if you're in the cottages or even in the building, and if you're having something done, like if you want to bring in a contractor to do something, anything, redo your closets, put a bowling alley in your living room, anything. What needs to happen is there's a form that you need to fill out, and that we sign, approving that what you're going to do. And the big thing there is that we make sure that the contractor that you're going to use, and you can use any contractor you wish, but they need to have the right insurance that we need to validate. So it's just, so it's not that you can't use a contractor, and it's not that you can't do work, but just let us know first, and let us, see if the work is the right thing, and make sure the contractor's up, and that we have the right insurance from him or her. Storage cages. Very soon, we're going to be moving forward on that. And I'll be sending out a lot of information about who's going where and how everything's playing in. I'm standing here right now with a belief that everything is going to work out splendidly. And I think that everybody is going to get exactly what they are asking for. A lot of you have been great. I really appreciate the responses, the number of people that have said, no, I don't need storage, or the people who've said, I'm willing to downsize, and that's been great. The big thing I just need to say is, unless and until you hear it from us, because I go through the hallway and I hear people say to me all the time, oh, I know I'm moving to so-and-so, so-and-so. Well, I don't know how you know that, because I didn't say anything yet. So unless you hear it from us, there's nothing official. And the other thing that I can't stress enough is you don't need to do anything. We will do everything. We'll move your stuff for you. If you want to do it, that's fine. If you want some assistance, that's fine. But you don't need to do anything. We will. So really soon, I'll be getting a lot of information out about that, about the process and the timing. Also, I thank you all for your diligence and patience with the pool, and the amount of time it took for us to get the pool back open once we changed the HVAC unit on the roof. There was an issue with the vendor, with the supplier who gave us the unit. We couldn't use it for a period of time, and that was all squared away. On the other side of it going back on, the room is at a much, much better, more comfortable humidity, and it stays there. The temperature in the room is much more controllable, and the humidity is a lot different. That changes a lot of things that people thought about the pool. The temperatures that used to be what everybody wanted are a little different. And if I have 60 people in here, I probably have 63 opinions on what the temperature should be. And the Plant Ops Committee and Fred Walensky, they are very eager and very happy to hear all the opinions, and they are going to have conversations, and Eric and I will participate, and we are going to take direction from them about what temperature the pool water should be and what temperature the pool room should be. So everybody that feels that it's not right, or people that feel that it is right, any comments should go to Fred at the Plant Ops Committee. And we're gonna, we're gonna make it however, the Plant Ops Committee feels it should be. So I know that's a big topic. The other big thing happening here, Woodland Pond this year, and it's timely right now, is like I think I said last time, we're going a lot more green on how we do the lawn. So we always traditionally, right about now, I would be sending out a notice saying that we're applying herbicide and pesticide and fertilizer. And we'd have an area that wouldn't go down to allow for dog walking. Well, we canceled that contract. We're not using that product. We're not using those products this year. There'll be none. But because of that, we are going to be doing some other things. We are going to be aerating the lawn, and we're going to be applying a compost fertilizer. So there may be periods of time that you might see the compost on the ground. It might be clumps, it might not be. And as we go through this process this year, I just need everybody's assistance and cooperation. That it's a learning process. The lawn might not look like a golf course this year. But we're going to make progress. We're going to be much more diligent. Mark Eisenhandler is really on top of this, and we're talking a lot with the contractor. We did a lot of research, so we believe things are going to be really well, and that things are going to work out good. So we're just asking for a little bit of, there could be times where maybe there's a couple more weeds than there should be, or maybe it's not the right color. But we'll get through all that. But the big thing is there'll be no pesticides or herbicides applied this year at all.
And one of the things that I asked Tom yesterday to take care of was he is going to get signs for our entrances that say that we've moved to a natural lawn treatment.
Right.
And kind of like, please excuse the appearance, because we do expect patchy. We know we don't have irrigation, and that's a challenge that has helped us be overcome with the weed control. But we thought it best from like a curb appeal marketing perspective, guests, that they know right from when they come in that we're moved to the natural, and that they can then understand that, it's a work in process, and,
Right.
This is where we're at.
Right. And it's not going to be like 5 years or so ago when COVID first came, we didn't apply any product, and we also didn't do a good job of alternate. So there was a year and a half that the lawn really didn't look good. And we're not going to have that because we're doing this not as a result of COVID. We're doing this with a very comprehensive plan. So, the lawn will not look like that, but it's all a work in progress. Questions? I'm done with my list.
And then go to June.
I'm on the Benefit Fund Committee. A number of people have purchased memorial benches to go along the new walking
Right.
trails.
Mhm.
Some of those purchases go back to last September, and there's been no sign of any progress in putting the benches up. And I wonder what I can tell people when they ask me.
Lindy talked to us a few days ago, and we started that process. I honestly don't know where we are right this minute with it.
Sit with Tom. That's a Lindsay thing.
Paul was out there today putting some out.
Yeah.
I think Paul and Bill,
Bill,
is his name, right?
Bill.
We're working on getting some benches out there today.
Yeah. All right.
They're all ordered.
Yeah, they're-
Everything's here.
yeah,
the
they've all been ordered,
everything's Here.
Right.
They haven't been put out because it was winter.
Right. Yeah. And then they're working on also when they put the benches out, we're putting in stakes and chains so that nobody moves them once they're there. So that's.
They're right now. They're installing them today.
They started it today. And like I said earlier, that and probably a few more questions, we are in progress right now with a lot of things on the outside.
Right. So if you have ordered a bench and you don't see it go up where you thought it was going to in the next week, see Lindsay. Lindsay's the contact.
Yep.
Or Lindy, whichever.
And Lindsay doesn't mind at all coming down and bothering me. So.
I have two questions. One is, I suggest that we take photographs of the lawn as it is now
because I think after ES, there's going to be some complaints from some people, and it would be really good to make sure we know what it looked like before and after.
That's an excellent idea.
And-
I'm sorry.
And then the other thing is, I'm concerned about the erosion at the top of the gravel road.
Yep, the contractor was here about 2 days ago, and you'll see here, he called me about an hour ago, and I was busy, and I said, I'll call you back, and he said yes. And he said yes as I walked up here. So I haven't talked to him yet, but that's his little icon. So that's something, so again, just like the benches, it's the time of year, we're getting in line, we're getting everything squared away. Yeah.
Tom, same topic. In our Land Conservation Committee, we've noted the erosion, but as I've walked the new trails a couple times this spring, there's also part of that cloth thing that seems to be poking up. Is that also part of what's going to be?
Some of it is theirs, but some of it is with the trail. There's always going to be standard normal maintenance that we need to do.
Correct. I just thought that since it's only been a year, that was awful early for this problem to occur.
No, there's some parts of that they'll address, some that we're going to address.
Thank you.
And like just last week, we had to get a chainsaw. We had to take a tree down. A tree fell down across it. So it's we're just rolling into the season.
So, I mean, as all of these things come up and they're important, this kind of meeting is not the right place to bring them up. The best thing you need to do is as soon as you see the condition, put in a work order. That has to be happening. Because oftentimes you all see the condition well before any of us do. And we need everybody's help. Obviously, it's fine to bring it up as a continuing concern, but we don't want things to sit and be problems. So please just go to concierge. You don't have to physically fill anything out. You just need to tell them, we need a work order and here's why.
Anything else? All righty.
Thanks, Tom.
Thank you.
Right, I'll just add to that quick. I'm Jason Irish, Director of Concierge and Communication Services. I'll just add to that saying it's the same thing we say for calling 911. If there's an emergency, don't assume someone else saw it or reported it. That's for any work order in your apartment, around the building, outside, wherever. Just submit it to concierge, and if it's a duplicate, maintenance will take care of it. I have a lot to talk about, so I'm just diving right in. The first thing I want to talk about is, it's a good topic. We're contemplating having an off-site pickleball tournament at the end of May. We're looking for anywhere from 10 to 16 residents to participate. We'll transport over. We're looking at a location in Wappingers. We have a pickleball group here at Woodland Pond, and we're hoping that them and other residents will join. If you're interested, sign up with Matt. Again, we're targeting the end of May, maybe May 30th, for an off-site pickleball tournament of residents. It'll probably be a few hours, so hopefully we can get a good turnout for that. Bridget is not here today, so I just want to bring this up quick. We have recently gone to a new workers' comp provider. This is more for staffing, or it is for staffing. So we've gone to a new workers' comp provider. If there's any injuries that happen to an employee while at work, there's a triage process that now happens where we'll call a number, a dedicated number, where they can FaceTime with a nurse or someone on the other end that can say whether or not you need to go seek medical attention. So this is a new process that we put in that is exciting, and well, maybe not exciting, but it's it's just a good process for us to have in place for any injuries that happen to staff. Some of you may have heard this already. Those that are participating tomorrow have obviously heard it. We are actively interviewing for the activity coordinator position, as Gretchen is, looking to leave here in the next few months or 6 months. We don't have a definitive date. Tomorrow morning, we are hosting 3 of the 4 candidates that we're bringing back for a second interview that are going to meet with Sarah and Gretchen, and also a resident panel. That's going to take place tomorrow in the game room and classroom, kind of combination of places, conference room from like 9 to 11. So keep your eyes open or keep your ears open and wait to see some updates on this new position. We do not have a date definitively for when this person's going to start, but we're working towards it. As you have probably seen, we have now started posting the activity signs for each room outside of the designated room. If there's any ideas or any feedback you want to give myself or Lindsay on those, we're just trying something different. Hopefully it's helping. Obviously, we've got our connected living screens. We've got our channel 1340. We've got the activities calendars. We're just trying to give more options for people to see what's going on. Okay. As of June 1st, well, let me start with this. So Rob was talking about, the spring and pollen. And as we're coming out of winter, we talked about it throughout the winter for residents to keep their cars moving or start their cars. We have gotten to a point where we probably jumpstart a car 4 to 5 times a week. And we think it's too much. So we want residents to be proactive. Obviously, you have to be proactive with your registration and your inspection. But you have to start your car at least once or twice a week, get it moving, don't let it sit in the parking lot. But with the pollen, it's just going to get caked on cars, so make sure we're moving cars. On that, as of June 1st, we are going to start, let me say what it is, and then I'll say what I'm going to say. As of June 1st, we are going to start charging $10 for every time we have to do anything vehicle related. This is not in an effort to charge residents more. We want you to take care of your own vehicle. We're here to help, of course, but when it gets to this point where we're jumping a car, 4 or 5 times a week, it's too much. But if you do need help, we're here to help. That's jump starting, moving, relocating, parking, bringing to Tom's, whatever it is, we can help. So the option is there, just so you know. All right, here's another thing we've kind of started doing. So in the lobby, when residents go out to appointments or if you're going shopping, sometimes it turns into like a parking lot with walkers, rollers, carts, wheelchairs, mobility devices. We have since started moving those to the cart room. So you can either, when you come down to go out, leave your device in the lobby. We're going to move it to the cart room, or you can be proactive, move it to the cart room, and then go out. This is just in an effort to declutter the lobby, make it look a little neater, not have things all over the place. Also, this is just some of the stuff that I've talked about before in the past. Medical transportation, we ask for 72 hours notice for all medical appointments. If you're riding our vehicles, that doesn't mean you have to wait until 72 hours to give it to us. If you have it for May or June or July, give it to us now. Don't wait to the 72 hours. We just ask for a minimum of 72 hours notice. With that, also, if there's an off-schedule trip, most of you probably know this, those have gone them. If there's an off-schedule trip, so we go Monday, Thursday, Friday to Poughkeepsie. If you have to go to Kingston on Monday, there's a $45 charge to go to Kingston if we can accommodate it. This is, again, only if this is off schedule. We go to Kingston on Tuesdays. If you have questions, you can ask me about that. Your pendants. We have started, and Ryan Kramer, who works in the maintenance department, has done a great job. As he does preventative maintenance checks, he also tests your PERS pendant while he's in the apartment or cottage. You should be wearing your pendant at all times. If you don't, at least know where it is. So when Ryan comes, you can test it, but you should be wearing it, or at least know where it is at all times. We talked about the trails. Your pendant may or may not work on the trails. So we have a cellular pendant that's at the concierge desk that you could take when you go down hiking anywhere around property or even off property. John Norton has actually tried it before. I see him sitting there. Next, those of you that are newer to Woodland Pond and wonder where your mail is that isn't showing up in your mail cubby or your mail box in the mailroom, check the concierge desk. There's a mail folder there that anything that doesn't have your exact address on, it'll go there. All right, what else? All right, last thing I'll say, and then I'll take any questions if there are any. So we have kind of been trialing a new trip method to pick each trip each month. I see Annette Johnson there. She's part of the committee with Gene Sutmeyer. We are again, trying different things. If anyone has any trip ideas, everyone knows that what we go on, they get the trip list every month. But if you have an idea of something that we don't go to or something that you're interested in seeing or going to, give it to Lisa at the desk, give it to Lindsay, give it to me, give it to the concierge. We're just looking for more ideas for places that we can go and what the residents are interested in that we're not currently doing. Any questions for me? Trina.
Hold on.
Is it possible to get a pendant to wear that's smaller? And because I don't wear mine because it's bulky and.
So there's two options. Michelle Cacavano, who I don't see here, she actually has one. There's a wrist pendant, which also has a necklace that goes to it. I could show it to you. The only difference with that, so there's two styles. The one that most of you have, this other style is, it says it's got a 3-year life. It's waterproof. It does not accept a battery replacement, which is why it says it's only a 3-year life, but it is another option that we have. So we could try it out and see if that works for you. Hang on, Yakov.
Is the iPhones have functions that you can call in an emergency and so? Do you have any recommendations or any ideas about how to make sure that people that cannot, get you have only one that, can work at a distance?
Are you talking about the cellular pendant?
Yeah, well, the one that you say that you can take on a trail.
Yep.
But iPhones and seem to be.
Oh, so you're just giving another suggestion to take your cell phone on the hike? Yeah, of course. Yeah, for residents with the cell phone, obviously keep it with you if you're going on a hike. Yes.
Actually, to that point, Lindsay is working with Timely Signs right now to finalize signs for the trailheads that are the safety tips. What we recommend for when you're on the trails, and one of those things is definitely to bring your cell phone. I'll go to John.
And Wayne.
Jason took my name in vain, but I have tried the cellular PERS at Sam's Point, at Mohawk, down Du Bois. It works anywhere a cell phone works. My cell phone, by the time I turn it on and call 911, I'd probably be dead because it takes forever. I'm still using an old school flip phone. I can play Snake on it. But at any rate, this one, all you do is push the button, the phone comes into concierge, and they take care of you. You tell them where you are and what you need, and it's great.
Thanks, John.
So we can actually talk, Jason and I'm going to put him on the spot. We can talk about getting costs if anybody wants to buy their own personal cellular PERS, if that's of interest to you. We do have the loaner. How often do you think it gets taken out? Rarely, right?
John, how many times have you used it? Yeah, rare. 3 times a year.
Yeah, so this is a really nice option because you have it and then it lets us know. I think, Wayne, did you have something?
Just a quick thank you to the drivers who take those of us who like to go on those trips. They're always there. They're always helpful. They're always, are just great to work with. No exceptions.
Thanks, Wayne. And we do have a new driver who most of you that go on the bus on the weekends have probably seen. His name is Oscar. Very nice. His wife actually works at reception in the health center. Very nice guy, young guy, and he's a good addition to the team. Any other questions for me? Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Dave Roberts. I'm the Capital Projects Manager for our renovations and expansion. Couple of things. The main one is that we got our GMP proposal from Wolson last Friday. And what that means is that we got their pricing for the phase 1 for the work in the community building, which we'd been anticipating for some time. Prior to that, we had got pricing just based on the schematic drawings provided by the designers. And this pricing is actually based upon bids from subcontractors and taking the lowest bid from each trade. So the situation at the moment is that we came in at about $1.4 million over where we wanted to be. What that means is that we had, after schematic design, the Wilson had estimated the work to be worth about 7.6 million. We had a little over that in our budget. We were allowing for 7.8 million. And their proposal has come in at a little over 9 million. So what that means is that, we actually, Michelle and I and Tom were on a meeting earlier today, which went for, I think, an hour and a half. We're going to have a series of these meetings where we go through each line item and determine how we are going to VE or value engineer this price down to where we want it to be. And Michelle and I have been very firm about the messaging to everyone involved, from the consultants and the GC on this project, that we need to maintain our price, that we're not going to let that drift northward and get ourselves into a situation where we are over budget. And there's a whole range of reasons for an increase in price. Some of it's scope. As you design, you get to learn about more things that you want. And so we got to address some of those decisions. Some of it's about unanticipated new items. It's about the selection of fixtures. Maybe we can get something that's less expensive. There is a little bit of escalation because of tariffs at this moment. Not a lot, but we're also talking about strategies as to how to accommodate those increases in price due to tariffs. We know that's going to happen. How do we deal with that? So, that's our homework at the moment, honestly, is going through the pricing line item by line item. It's not just us, it's our consultants and our construction manager working together to figure out creative solutions to hit our target budget. So that's where we are with the pricing for the work on the community building. And then the other thing is, we're continuing with the work on the expansion, the satellite project, and doing our due diligence with regard to that. We have had a meeting with the neighbours who would be affected by this, and that will be a continuing conversation about how we can accommodate their concerns and listen to their concerns and address those. And also, of course, the biologist is still determining the extent of the wetlands and confirming that. We thought we were going to get an early jump on that because, remember, we had those warmer days and we thought, all that vegetation is going to start to grow. And of course, then we got a little cold spell and that slowed things down. But he was out there actually, I think, Monday. And you may see, if you're, on the Ermine passing by on George Danskin, you might see him out there with flags determining where the wetlands are. So that's where we are at the moment with the expansion. We did have a preliminary meeting with the village, which I think was very positive. They are, I want to say, they have some concerns, but really they're supporting us in our endeavor. And then the other piece here is our financing for the community building and our challenges with the DOH. And Michelle is being very proactive with regard to getting the DOH involved, identifying the challenges that we see, working with the other CCRCs who also have applications in front of the DOH, and figuring out how we can address those differences in opinion. And I know that's been a tremendous amount of work, sort of outside my purview. I mean, Michelle may want to talk more about that. You want to?
Yeah, I'll elaborate on that. And actually, I didn't have too many things to talk about today, but this is on topic. Tomorrow, you are going to see in the classroom that there are some people here that you don't recognize. I have invited the CEOs and finance executives for the 5 continuing care retirement communities in New York that currently have applications for financing in front of New York State and the regulators. And there will be regulators here tomorrow from the Department of Health and from the Department of Financial Services, as well as CEOs from Buffalo community, a Rochester area community, a Westchester, the new one, River's Edge. It's going into Manhattan and Woodland Pond. So it's going to be a big meeting. And the reason that we're coming together is because in the aftermath of the Amsterdam, the Harborside community that closed or is not closing, it's turning from an Article 46 community into a rental community. The Department of Health is kind of gone underground on wanting to approve financings for any of our existing communities. And they are trying to identify ways to increase consumer protections in ways that are available under existing law and reg, but are in conflict with industry best practice and bond requirements. So what's happening is there's a departure between New York State laws and regulations that have been in place for like 30 years on this and the actual bond documents that DOH has approved over the years. And they want to get these into alignment. And currently there's 5 of our communities whose projects are completely stalled until this gets resolved. So this was just getting kicked around and not addressed. And finally, last week, I said, we need to hit this head on. Please come to Woodland Pond. We'll have a round table. So we're all getting together tomorrow. People are coming in from all over the state to try to put our minds together on this and get some forward progress. So I just want you to know that this is not specific to Woodland Pond. They're not approving any applications, but currently all of those that I've listed are in the same boat that we are. They're ready to renovate and expand. They're existing and thriving communities with the exception of one, which is River's Edge. And River's Edge is 11 years into their development process. They're completely pre-sold. They've met all the requirements to start construction, but they do not have financing approval. So they are just sitting and waiting to begin this new community. So they're in a bit of a different boat than we are. But, I don't like to rest on things. So let's get this going. Let's get this moving and see how it goes. So we're working on it.
Yeah.
Any questions on that? You want to pass the mic? Yeah. Okay. Unless the question's for Dave.
Can I ask you, like with the new renovations, the new area for exercise classes, will it be the flooring, will it be a rug like this? Because this is dangerous.
It's not a rug. It's a
sports floor. Yeah.
It's a slightly cushioned sports floor.
Sports floor, yeah.
So it has a little bit of padding to it, but a very thick outer like rubber layer with the sports floor, so you can't really trip on it. It's very nice. And
it's very resilient. So it's the great thing about it is it's perfect for doing exercise on and so on, but it can also stand up to having chairs on it. So it means that the chair exercise classes can also happen in this space. So it's going to do everything for us.
Yes, and a pickleball will bounce on it. Yes. Dave? And it will be lined. We'll have the pickleball courts outlined, but it's full exercise room, gymnasium.
Thank you. Dave, I thank you for your weekly updates. I'm a regular follower there, and I like how you keep the ball moving, keep the ball moving. Michelle, I was present at the last couple of finance review meetings, and I heard you speak of the beginning of this process, that you were going to join with the several other similarly situated CCRCs. I think this is a superb next step to get all the brains in one room at one time and find a solution moving forward. Thank you very much for
Thank you.
that.
Yeah, I think it's important for all of us, and we're setting precedent here, but there's a heavy lift here, and we have to just try to take it on.
I think it's great. And one more thing, Dave, good luck Monday. I hope you have
Yes,
a
good luck
personal
to
best.
Dave on Monday. He's running the Boston Marathon.
Thanks, Dave.
So it's very common on a Monday morning to come in and we're all like, well, what'd you do? And like Tom's like, I watched a streaming show or sat on my boat in my driveway and I'm, like I grocery shopped and wish I was going for a walk. And he's like, yeah, I like ran 20 miles uphill while also having a full conversation with my running partners. And we also were cooking at the same time. And he puts us all to shame. Let's just put it that way. But yes, he will be running the Boston Marathon on Monday. Other questions for Dave or me on this financing or the project? Okay. Pick your next person.
The mic off on me. Hi, everybody. Phil Cavallo, Dining Service Director. Got a couple of exciting things coming up in the near future. I'll try to be proactive about answering questions by giving you a little bit more information. So this Sunday is Easter brunch. We have a specialty menu. We will have a choose your own omelet station. There's going to be corned beef hash. There's going to be a vegan quiche. So this Sunday's brunch is going to be a little bit fancier. We have the new menu rollout. So the new cycle menu, a week from this Saturday, the 26th, we will see a brand new menu cycle. With that comes a new menu format. So everybody's been asking for larger print menus. It's been heard, it's been addressed. So starting Saturday the 26th, the new menus will be rolled out. They will be on legal paper and they will be larger font. There will only be one menu. It will include the weekly always available as well as the daily specials and everything in between. So no more juggling two menus, no more pulling out the readers. You should be able to get it all done on one. Some of the new menu items that are changing, all of the salads are changing. The brunch menu items are changing. It's going to be more of an entree style, a little bit more lunchy than breakfasty. The new menu cycle, there's going to be lamb on the menu at least twice. The always available is going to have three options. Every week it's going to be a fish option, a animal protein option, and a vegetarian and or vegan option. The daily special options, there will always be a vegetarian or vegan option. So moving forward, we're kind of leaning into the healthier vegetarian diets. There will be a vegan option every day except for Monday in week 2, but we can address that and make a vegan option if need be. Turns out about 26% of the always available entrees are going to be vegan. So I know that's been something that's been requested. We're trying to listen. That's really all I have. For any of you who joined Seder this past Saturday, thank you very much. It was a big hit, big success. So we appreciate that and happy Passover to anybody who's celebrating. That's all I've got.
This is my day for questions. Is there going to be any improvement in the fruit salad?
So the fruit salad, we took the honeydew out. We are adding grapes, strawberries, that type of thing. And once the fruits become in season, we'll be adding some more to that too. That's it. Fantastic. Have a good day, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah Leonard, the Resident Services Director. It's nice to see all of you. And just a friendly reminder that my annual visits with each of you are continuing. And an annual visit is an informal visit that takes place in your residence with me. And it's just meant to be an opportunity for me to get to know you and for you to get to know me. And I really enjoy these visits because I want to know you better, who you are, what you enjoy, what's important to you, what you feel is going really well at Woodland Pond, what you feel could use some improvement. And it's also an opportunity for me to go over your emergency packet with you, make sure your medication list is up to date, your advanced directives, your emergency contacts. I'll also check in with you about how things are in your residence, if there's anything that needs to be fixed, if there's any additional housekeeping services that you need. And it's a time when you can feel free to share whatever you'd like. If you're dealing with any kind of challenge that's affecting you emotionally, affecting you mentally, physically, or like, it's up to you to share whatever you wish with me. And I'm happy to be a listening ear, a confidential ear, and also to provide you with any support resources you might be needing or wanting. So just a heads up, I go in alphabetical order. I'm moving kind of slowly through the alphabet. Sometimes I bounce around a little while, but you may get a call or email from me just asking if we can schedule our visit and have a chat for a little bit.
You mentioned about Liz.
Yes. So as you know, Mary Jo is approaching retirement. And the new wellness nurse, her name is Liz, and we'll get a memo out with more information about Liz so you can be prepared and understand who she is before she arrives. But she's going to be starting on May 1st. And then Mary Jo's last day with us after 13 years that I've worked with her will be on the 6th. And so that is the latest news. So we will welcome Liz. And we will give Mary Jo lots of hugs and lots of well wishes as she heads into retirement and heads into a time to really enjoy her family and grandkids and step into her next adventure. All right. Anything for me?
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Like I said, I really don't have much today. We've been really busy with trying to get, everything kind of moved up towards the financing. It's taken up a lot of time. We are working on a couple different things with various policies and things like that here at Woodland Pond, working on succession planning, risk management, a whole bunch of things. So you're going to start to see things that we've been working on over the last few months kind of coming together. Some of it will have a direct impact, like where you'll see a new strategic plan come out. Some of the things you won't see because it's behind the scenes, but suffice it to say there's a lot going on. One of the things that again, I'm just kind of springing this on Jason, but what we talked about at the Residents Council, a couple times over the last couple months is how to reduce the amount of interruptions that happen when residents come late to a large group event like this. And we talked about some different options like closing the doors, 5 minutes after, using an usher. That just seemed like we don't have an usher. So that was one primary problem with that. But what we decided we're going to try to do, and so when we do setups, Jason, we need to do the back row and keep the back row vacant. So from now on, the back row is going to be reserved for latecomers. And we will just continue to remind you of this. So we will make a back row in the larger rooms. And then we're going to ask that you keep those vacant for latecomers. And then if you do come in late after the meeting has already started, we are going to ask you to do so quietly and just pick the first available seat in the back. For those that like to sit in the back, you might have to scooch up one row so that the latecomers can go and just slide in. But other than that, I don't really have, everybody's kind of covered everything. Does anybody have anything that they would like to talk to me about or ask me any questions today? Okay, well then, have a great rest of your afternoon and we'll see you next month.